When we do the dailies, we go back and do the weeklies.
Actually, tomorrow I gotta start filling them out already.
In my department, nobody likes doing this one.
This is the sheet we use.
Self-explanatory.
That is in status C.
The P1s, we don't usually use that.
These are in B status. Those are in A status.
The 7th one is the 8.
Miscellaneous.
What code? We have different codes. It messes up your eyes after a while.
It's pretty easy. There's like three different statuses that go in there. The G status is the converters that have come in from the field, and they can be used over. You put those on the G. There's a second status is H status.
And that's how we keep track of everything in here. These are our technicians over here. And this is how we get our weekly reports and then our monthly reports, which just turns out to all kinds of numbers, and we give this, our general manager takes care of her reports with that. And for each area, we have 5 areas and we all have to do the same thing. So we can keep track of exactly how many jobs we're taking care of. I deal with a lot of numbers every day, all day. It's just numbers. Sometimes I dream of them. But it's numbers every day.
Oh, Janice, hi. I called you because I need some information.
Oh, I get a little nervous when I have to come to the business office.
I'm just putting the billing together for the Yippee Chew account.
Oh, how can I help?
I gotta know who worked on it last night. Who did you authorize for overtime?
Just the mount room.
Well, see, I need these worksheets to figure this out. So far, no one sent me anything.
That's my department.
Right. That's why I thought you could help.
Most workplace writing is filling out forms and supplying short bits of information. This program talks about the importance of written information in the workplace and your role in providing it. For more information, look for the chapter Directions, Forms, and Charts in the workbook that accompanies this series.
Every patient that comes into this clinic comes to this desk, the appointment desk. I greet the patient, give them a number, ask the patient to have a seat until that number is called.
Your address, please? They come in without appointments. They're very ill. And it seems that most of them say they have nowhere else to go, and if they do go somewhere else, they don't take them. We process the patient as far as entering their information into the computer, and then the nurse takes care of them from then.
They're seen by the nurse where they take their temperature, vital signs, to find out why their patient is here. All of that is written on that form. The form comes to me. I assign their patient to a doctor for that day, present the patient with an appointment slip, ask the patient to have a seat, and wait for their name to be called.
So whatever clinic you go to in Fantas, we pull the medical record out of the basket, we stamp a progress note so that the doctor can see this is what he's gonna write on for this visit, and then it goes back to the doctor. They come out, we just put it back in the medical record, the progress note, and we put the progress note in the basement, and at the end of the day, medical records comes and pick it up. Well, the chart is important because it has all of the history of the patient.
If this patient comes back to the hospital, we should be able to know where the record is, track the record, retrieve the record, and send it to the physician who's looking at the patient.
I'm a retriever clerk, and what that means is that requests that come down to this department, the medical records department, I receive the request, I locate the chart, and I scan it to the area in which it's going.
By having the chart available, by having patients registered in a timely way, by retrieving laboratory data or x-ray data from a computer, allows the physician to spend more time with the patient. Without the clerks being here, we can't effectively and efficiently function as a healthcare institution.
We have to make sure that it's complete for the next doctor to be able to read it, and all the information should be there.
Keith, I have 2 charts for the clinic.
check out the game yesterday?
I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah,
it.
man, it was a good game.
Was it?
Yeah.
What?
Cool.
Sorry about that. I get so busy doing the work, I forget about doing the paperwork.
Paperwork is the work. If you don't fill out those worksheets, I won't know how to bill.
True.
And payroll needs them to figure your overtime or you won't get paid for it.
I wondered who read those things.
I do. And they do. I need to figure costs before the presentation, and payroll needs hours today to pay you by Friday.
Oh, okay. Listen, I'll tell everyone to get them in.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Timesheets, schedules, and price lists are just a few of the many charts used in day-to-day workplace operations. In order to use them correctly, it helps to take in their overall structure. What are they used for, and how is the information organized? When you fill in a chart, pay attention to rows and columns. Make sure the information goes where it belongs, and write neatly.
Well, there's like thousands of dollars of equipment going to these technicians, and if you don't know where it's going, they end up missing. It comes out of the company, and then it hurts us.
Well, it was a box that it was a mistake. I think it was like more so like, not a type over, but a write over. I wrote a box down, or I didn't write the box down.
They do not
Well,
write legibly.
my writing is very legible. And I have good writing skills. And I was, through the course of the day, dealing with so many attitudes, you can kind of like get a little misdirected or misguided, so to speak. It was a box that was left at this guy's house, and Debbie was like, Jerry, you have a outstanding box and all this money. I'm like, I have not enough money to, I'm not going to pay for this box because I know.
He wasn't there come. He was like, I'm not paying for that box.
I'm not paying for
I
that
left
box.
that box at a subscriber's house.
I know where I left it. And I'm like, man, Debbie, I got a little upset because I'm like, I am not paying for that box. And sure enough, by her giving more heat on me, it made me, run a little faster to go find out where that box was. And I found it. It was in her trunk. No, I was kidding. It was, it was in a customer's house. But it was in a customer's house. So he called me and I got the information, turned it in, and the matter's clear. So we owe one another.
So all you have to do is stay focused.
Basically, that's it.
Me being accurate, for me mainly is like the stock. All the technicians need the stock in order to install a certain cable. So for me, that's kind of a little important. You really need the paperwork so you can justify the cost of the year. At the end of the year, you want to know where did all this money go. You want to know this
what
is.
they call budget. We have a certain budget. Mainly our paperwork my paperwork is really mainly to know how many jobs are completed. And our technicians, what's been taken care of, and so we can know, exactly how much money is going out and coming in to the company. We can go back and make sure that all the jobs are accounted for. We have 35 jobs. All the codes from 1 to 7 have to add up to 35. So that's how we go about knowing if one job is missing or it's not accounted for.
Well, I have a locker in my own personal file. I take the initiative to make that, and just there it is. Well, there's really no cutoff date to how long I should keep it, but I just keep it, so if
I
ever...
suggest to the technicians that they hang on to it for at least 3 months. After 3 months, they can discard it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Well, I'll get rid of all that. Give me a lighter and I'll burn all that paper.
And the thing is, too, we're trying to push, we push the other technicians to keep their receipts, because a lot of technicians do misplace, or they don't, they sometimes forget to write down boxes, and they have the copy to show them.
I do understand, since that incident occurred, I do keep some
It really
copies.
only takes one incident. Then
But
they'll
yeah, it
start
takes one,
filing
because
the
when you see that
paperwork.
dollar symbol behind that large amount of money, it's just...
Payroll deduction.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a good reference to have.
One of the most common tasks you'll face on the job is filling out forms. Fill them out as you do your work. It's part of the job. Late or missing information can cost time and money.
Hey, have you got your worksheet for the EP2 job?
I'm actually working on it right now.
Uh-huh, good. I need to take it to Reagan when you're done.
I wouldn't mind the overtime. It's just, I've got this graphics course.
I thought you wanted the extra money.
I do, but if I miss another class, then I'm gonna get an incomplete.
Maddie and I could help. She wants a job in production, and I can use the extra hours.
Yeah, but see, I'm the only one left who can operate the dry mount press.
Was it hard to learn?
Well, it's not bad, but if you get it wrong, once you've mounted them, you can't get them off.
Well, could you teach us how to do it?
Yes, but it's easy to forget if you don't do it all the time.
Well, we'll just write down the steps.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah, why not?
I get up every morning about 7. I turn the TV on. What I do is I prepare my uniform for the day, and I get here about 10 minutes to 10. You know, I start preparing myself for the day. Call us, I need keys. You know, my work orders, trying to figure out what kind of equipment I'm going to need. I'm filling out up to the point where before I get to the customer's house, like the date, my signature, things that I can do before I get there. It's like a prep. It'll make the job a little quicker once I get into the customer's unit. And then all I would need from them is a signature from them once I'm completed with the job. And from there, I'm on routing my route and onto my schedule. I've been with TCI going on about 3 years. I like what I'm doing. I like using my creativity and dealing with customers every day. 10 minutes worth of listening to the customer before you get past the first step at the front door. Just to listen to them tell you what they've had to go through to get to this point right here where you're standing at their front door. But if that's what it takes to calm them down, then I'm all ears. I'll listen to it. And then with a smile, I ask them, now, what can I do for you? I need this for 2 rooms. They're pretty nice runs. I say this is maybe about a good 35, 40 feet. But I want to make sure to have enough. Maybe even 50 feet. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays, and I do enjoy spending time with my family and my daughter. So you're gonna need cable from the VCR to the TV set, looks like.
Yeah.
Well, 4 or 5 feet would be plenty. You know, I do also look forward to coming to work Tuesday, and I don't have to think about anything else. I can just, from the time I get here at 10 o'clock in the morning till I leave at 7 o'clock at night, I can just deal with TCI, and I can solve some fixable problems instead of going out there, you know, after work and dealing with things that you have no control over. Right here, I have control over things. I have control over what I can do. And so that makes you feel good. Okay, we're on to the next stop. What we do is the electricity we send to shoot the signal up the line. I want to move up to the next spot, right, which is system tech, what you call line tech. Once I get that done, then I can start trying to mold my career, the things that I think that I want to do for the rest of my life. I do it for me. I have an agenda, but I also have motivation. 890-599 Apple. That should satisfy my route.
Yes, it does, sir. You have a nice day.
10-4, you have a nice day also. You can show me 1019 and clear. When I collect money, I keep it in a separate pocket. And you always write down exactly what you have, be it cash or checks. You separate the cash from the checks. You always know where you got what from. There's a slot up here for cash, checks, or money orders. Since we collected 5824 cash, we'll put 5824 here. Then you got the checks. Now, 70, 74, and 100 even, that would be 170, 74. I double check, and sometimes you triple check. It's an ongoing thing.
Personnel forms, evaluations, work orders, invoices, shipping slips, insurance forms, and accident reports are just some of the many forms found on the job. Even with forms, it's helpful to use a writing process. What is the purpose of the form? Who does it go to? What facts do you need to fill it in? Read all the directions and note the deadlines. Fill in the form accurately and completely, check it over, and turn it in.
What do you have as the first step?
Mark the board where the frame fits.
Okay, done.
Then mark the crop in the illustration and line it up.
Wait a minute, how do I find the crop on the illustration?
Oh, right. The original has a flap that shows the crop. I use that flap to mark the copy.
Use the original. Use the flap on the original to transfer the crop. Okay, got it.
Then you're gonna tack the tissue down with the iron.
Doesn't stick.
Oh, well, gotta make sure that the iron is on.
You might want to put that down as the first step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Turn iron on. Okay.
If you need to write directions on the job, put yourself in the reader's place. Use simple words with clear meanings. Write out instructions step by step in the order they need to be followed. Walk through the steps to make sure you haven't missed anything. You can't assume anything is obvious. What may seem clear and simple to you may confuse others.
Lena, I thought you'd be out watering the Grimes place.
I didn't have to. It was already wet, so I thought I'd clean up in here.
So you're saying you haven't been out to the Grimes place watering at all?
No, just not along the west wall. I'm scheduled to work there once a week, but every time I go water there, it's always wet, like it's just been watered. So I was working in here.
Looks great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I have the fertilizers here, I got the pesticides here, and I have the hand tools right over here.
Think it'll stay this way?
I don't know. Nobody ever puts things where they go.
Well, what about labels?
What would they say?
Well, you've done most of the work. Fertilizer's there, right? Fertilizers.
But you know, I don't think everybody can read.
So what about colors? You know, green for fertilizers, orange for poisons.
That could work. Let's see. My writing is not very neat, so.
Just so long as it's legible.
Okay.
Troy hasn't been watering the Grimes place either?
I don't think so. It's not in his work order.
Oh, well, if you see him, can you ask him?
Sure.
Use signs to communicate a simple message quickly, and make lists to help you remember what work needs to be done, or to remind others of routine procedures.
You'd use one shelving unit in the wall, and then you take the padded shelf holders, and you do those on each side and do shelf against shelf.
Grand opening, my grand opening for next week. There's so much going on right now, I'm afraid there's something I'm going to miss or that I'm going to forget. Sunday night, because I needed to do this Monday, it was actually, I woke up and I was wide awake and I couldn't go back to sleep because my mind would just go and go and go. It wouldn't quit. And so I jumped up and wrote these notes down, So I'm just trying to make sure I cover every step of the way as much as I can. I have my invitations I had to send out. I wanted to see what advertisement was going to be covered. I have coupons that I'll have to pass out Friday and Saturday. I have to hire someone for casual labor just to come in and hand that out. Along with all this other things, I've got 25 employees who will holler at me every step down the aisle. This will be their first time they're on registers, the first time they wait on customers, the first time our doors are open, and it's going to be a whole new experience with them, and they're relying on me to get them through it. Plus, I have to deal with all the other little details. I had to make notes, just little things. Call this person, call that person, things that you lay down and you're getting ready to doze off, and all of a sudden this pops in your head and you didn't do it. And by the next morning you won't remember, you'll forget again. But I have to make those notes. Corduroys and sweaters. We can pull some of these black sweaters to the wall, maybe. Everything I'm thinking, I write it. But some of these were just notes that I made going into grand opening. And this is the one that I woke up the other night and wrote. Yeah, that was just Ruth at Richmond. What that means is my office person, I was sending her to Richmond to train, and I needed to call and verify with Richmond if it's okay when she went and set up the times. I told all my employees, anything you find with my handwriting, collect it and bring it to my desk. You buy pants with pockets. You know? How you coming, sir? I never know what my day's gonna hold. You know, I can come in with my itineraries, this is what I'm gonna do today, and it will be completely different. It's never boring. It's always something different. We will have to set up the office. We will have to rest because we will have to be able to greet customers and sell clothes on Saturdays without bags under our eyes and biting everyone's head off, you know.
My weekly planner is a guide. I use this hundreds of times in a given week for mostly work. Oh, sure. Pick a page. Here we have, let's see, Quality Circle Luncheon. Here's one that tells me when the build-out schedule for a particular model is. I have some parts that were needed before shift that had to be delivered so the line could start up in time. My day timer, I use it for a guide. It's also a scheduler. Here's what today's looks like. I need to call Arc Incorporated, who's a contractor, to find out about the number of recycling bins. I had a meeting with Paul Bridge, our assistant general manager. I have to ask James Peichel, who's another specialist, about savings and where our quality circle is on savings of recyclables. There's just so many things to try to remember of that sort. There's a nomination sheet that we need for the National Recycling Coalition. We've been nominated to represent Toyota in the National Recycling Award Program. We have attacked waste at the source. My weekly planner is a guide, a scheduler that I use on who I have to contact. I use this hundreds of times in a given week.
Labels, signs, and lists help workers organize their work and workspaces. Keep labels short and simple. Choose a word or two that describe what the contents have in common.
Some of my chemicals have to use a color code to make sure that the ones that having problems in reading don't mix up my product, because all my products is dispenser out. So with a color code, they know green is this, yellow is another detergent. So I have that on all my machines. As far as OSHA is concerned, everything has to be labeled.
Whoa, what happened in here?
I cleaned up. You like it?
Yeah. You think it's gonna last?
Oh, I hope so. Raul helped me label everything. See? Right there.
Hey, I don't know if everybody can read those.
Well, at least they can see how we've organized everything, and it's color-coded.
Oh yeah, check it out. Pesticides, orange, for danger.
Yeah. And Raul redid the inventory form, so it was organized the same way.
Let me see.
See? So you can check off supplies as you use them.
Oh yeah, this is gonna make paperwork so much easier, man. I keep falling behind.
Speaking of paperwork, have you been watering out at the Grimes place and not writing it up?
No, why?
Well, I went there to water twice along the west wall, and it was already wet.
Oh yeah, hey, when they put in that wall, they diverted the drainage. So those junipers are wet, like, all the time.
You're kidding me.
No, every time it rains, it's like a floodplain.
Why didn't you tell me about it?
Oh, I meant to, but I haven't seen you in like a month.
You could have written it down.
That's true. But where? Huh? Hey, maybe we could put up a message board for everybody.
That's a good idea.
All right.
Even simple entries on forms and charts are an important part of most jobs. These written documents provide records of workplace activities. It's every employee's job to complete paperwork on time. Note your deadline and ask questions if you don't understand something. Remember the purpose of the records you keep and who has to read them. Collect the information you need and enter it carefully. Fill out all forms completely and double-check your work.
It just comes down to us.
We are the front line. The clerks are the front line.
We have to make sure that everything is in order, everything is correct. We don't guess.
You know, we screen the patients to go to the emergency room or to go to see a specialist in Panthers.
It's more like knowing that you did something right for somebody.
It's a great job. I love it. I love it.
I want to make my family, I want to make my daughter proud of me. I have a 3-year-old. And I want her to have something to say, well, this is what my daddy does. And he's good at it.
This is PBS.